I want to share this fascinating thread with you that I read recently because something that has been on my mind so often is the question posed by I Understood in one of her viral videos, in which she asks, whose imagination are we living in? The older I get, the more I notice that all of the systems, all of the norms, even our kind of idiomatic expressions and slogans are in some way related to capital systems that exploit our labor and benefit a very, very select few. Cultural imagination surrounding productivity, around taking breaks. There's just so many things ingrained into our very being that are for capital, so that we constantly think of ourselves as worthless and have to work more and more and more. But a marginal fraction of our labor, the working people that is actually producing all the labor, goes to the top 1%. They get all of the wealth, they get all of the shebang, especially with regards to the WGA strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike. But listen to this thread because I think it really relates. So he says, the thing that terrifies the ruling class the most about Marxism and communism aren't the theoretical frameworks or analyses contained within them. It's the simple fact that they actually name capitalism as a particular and no way natural system that we live under. He goes on to say, Marx's most important work doesn't define or outline a path towards communism. It simply is an examination of what capitalism is. That is terrifying to capitalists. You know the story about the fish asking the other fish how the water is, and the fish responding, "What is water?" This idea has been written about by people like Mark Fisher, and it's broadly understood as capitalist realism. The idea that capitalism is all there is, that it's easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism, that capitalism essentially equals the economy. There's a reason why Margaret Thatcher, for example, went out of her way to convince the mass of people that there is no alternative. One of her most famous lines, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he doesn't exist, that there's no water. Then goes on to say, but things would really start to shift if the mass of people began to understand that society and our economy have been very deliberately constructed. Keyword deliberately. Every single aspect of our lives is the result of conscious choices by powerful people. Everything is political. Everything. This is one of the biggest gifts that Mark gave us. He named the system. And that's why whenever somebody first discovers his work, it feels like you're finally waking up, like you're seeing the Matrix for what it is. And that's why there was an immensely successful and violent project waged by the ruling class in the United States with the complicity of all major liberal institutions to eradicate Marxism from public discourse. They literally arrested and blacklisted people. Almost out of time, so I'm going to read fast. I'm going to say take a moment and pause and read this. Especially this is so important, why we need to name capitalism. And lastly, this. Now, I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. Please tell me what you think about this, what other systems might work, what you think of this in general, and my thoughts at the beginning of the video. I love you. Hope you're having a good day.